Welcome to Solution Testing. Testing makes sure your BTP solution works correctly. This means verifying that all parts perform as expected before going live. For example, in an employee onboarding app, testing checks if data flows properly from HR systems to BTP services. Ultimately, this ensures reliability and user satisfaction. We will create test cases and run them step by step. This means designing specific checks for each part of our solution and executing them in a planned sequence. For instance, testing an online order process, first validate item selection, then payment entry, and finally confirmation generation. This structured approach ensures every component works as expected before deployment. You will learn to check everything works as expected. This means systematically verifying each component functions correctly before launch. For instance, ensuring an employee onboarding app correctly creates user accounts and assigns system access. Mastering this process ensures your solutions perform reliably and meet business requirements from day one. This prevents problems when your solution goes live. It means testing your app thoroughly before customers use it, catching errors early. For instance, verify a shopping cart calculates totals correctly before launching an online store. This careful preparation ensures a smooth and successful launch for everyone involved. Testing is critical for quality and business success. Testing finds problems before users do. This means we identify and fix issues during development rather than after launch. For example, a new employee onboarding app might miscalculate vacation days. Testing catches this error first. This proactive approach ensures a smooth and reliable user experience from day one. It ensures your solution meets business needs. This means testing verifies that your application actually solves the problem it was built for. For instance, a new employee onboarding app must correctly assign equipment and system access. Without testing, it might fail, causing delays and frustration. Proper testing confirms your system delivers the intended business value. You can fix issues early when they are easier to resolve. This means catching problems in development before they reach production, where they become complex and costly. For example, finding a data mismatch during unit testing prevents it from causing payroll errors for thousands later. Addressing bugs early saves significant time and resources. Builds confidence that everything works together. This means verifying all integrated components function seamlessly as a single system. For example, testing that a BTP application correctly pulls and processes data from your SAP S/4HANA system. This ensures your complete solution operates reliably before it goes live. Creating your test plan. Start by listing all the things your solution should do. This means documenting every function and requirement upfront. For example, if building an app to track inventory, list features like adding items, updating stock levels, and generating low stock alerts. A clear list ensures your testing is thorough and nothing is overlooked. Think about what could go wrong. This means anticipating potential failures before testing, like a login process that might fail under high user load. For example, test if your app still works when 1,000 users sign in simultaneously. Proactively identifying these risks ensures your solution remains reliable and robust in real-world conditions. Include both normal and unusual situations. This means your test plan should cover everyday operations as well as unexpected scenarios. For example, test standard user login, but also what happens when the system is under heavy load. This ensures your application is robust and reliable under all conditions. Plan tests for each part of your solution. This means you should test every individual component, like a specific app or integration, not just the final product. For example, if you build a sales app, separately test the user interface, the data connection, and the reporting feature. This thorough approach ensures every piece works correctly before you go live. Step 1. Write comprehensive test cases. For each requirement, create a test case. This means every feature or rule in your project needs a specific check to prove it works correctly. For example, if a requirement says users must log in, your test case would verify that login succeeds with valid credentials. This ensures every part of your solution is validated and reliable before moving forward. Describe what you are testing clearly. This means precisely stating the function or feature being tested in simple language. For example, test that the employee onboarding app correctly calculates start dates excluding weekends. A clear description ensures everyone understands the test's purpose and scope, preventing confusion and saving time during execution. List the steps to follow. This means identifying each action needed to test a feature. For example, to test a shopping cart, first add an item, then check its price, and finally proceed to checkout. Following these steps ensures your tests are thorough and reliable. Define what success looks like. This means establishing clear, measurable criteria for when a test passes. For example, when testing a user login, success is defined as the system granting access within 2 seconds after correct credentials are entered. This clarity ensures your tests objectively validate that the application functions as required. Testing in the Business Technology Platform cockpit. Open your BTP cockpit. This means launching the web interface where you manage your SAP Business Technology Platform services. For instance, to check your application's health, you would first open the cockpit to access monitoring tools. This is your starting point for all administrative and testing tasks. Navigate to your solution components. This means finding and accessing the specific services you have set up in your BTE account. For instance, after deploying a mobile app, you would locate its backend database and API management tools here. This direct access is essential for managing your application's building blocks. Check that all services are running. This means verifying each BTP service is active and available. For instance, after deploying an app, ensure the SAP HANA Cloud database and authentication services are operational. This step prevents disruptions by confirming all components function as expected before use. Verify your applications are accessible. This means checking that your deployed apps are reachable and usable by end users through their browsers or devices. For example, after deploying an employee portal, you'd open its URL to confirm it loads properly. Ensuring this basic access is the first step to a successful deployment. Testing service connections. Test that services can talk to each other. This means verifying that different applications or services can successfully exchange data and requests. For example, ensure your e-commerce app can securely connect to the payment processing service to handle transactions. Confirming these connections is essential for your solution to function correctly. Check data flows between components. This means verifying that information moves correctly from one service to another. For example, confirm that customer data from your SAP S/4HANA system properly reaches the SAP Analytics Cloud service for reporting. Ensuring this flow works prevents data gaps and guarantees your integrated solutions function seamlessly together. Verify authentication works correctly. This means confirming your service can securely log in and communicate with other BTP services. For example, when connecting to SAP HANA Cloud, test that your app's credentials successfully retrieve data without errors. Proper authentication ensures all your integrations function reliably and securely. Confirm error handling functions properly. This means ensuring your system correctly manages and responds to failures like a bad password or network issue. For example, if a connection to an email service fails, the system should log the error and retry or notify an admin instead of crashing. Proper error handling keeps your applications stable and reliable under unexpected conditions. Testing user access for security and compliance. Test different user roles and permissions. This means verifying that users only see and do what their job requires. For instance, a manager should see financial reports that a sales assistant cannot access. This step is crucial for ensuring both security and correct application functionality. Verify users see only what they should. This means checking that access controls work, so each person's view is tailored to their job. For instance, an accounts payable clerk should see vendor invoices but not employee salary data. This verification is a critical step for maintaining security and compliance in your applications. Check login and logout processes. This means verifying that users can securely sign in and exit the system. For example, ensure an employee can log into the company portal with their credentials and then successfully log out to end their session. This basic check confirms that user access controls are functioning as intended. Test password reset if applicable. This means verifying users can securely reset forgotten passwords themselves. For example, a salesperson locked out of their account could use the Forgot Password feature to receive a reset link via email. Ensuring this function works prevents IT help desk overload and maintains business continuity. Performance testing basics, core principles and objectives. Check how your solution handles multiple users. This means testing if your application remains stable and responsive when many people use it at once. For example, ensure an online store does not crash during a holiday sale. Proper testing ensures a smooth experience for all users. Test response times for key actions. This means measuring how long important user tasks take in your application. For example, timing how many seconds it takes from clicking Submit Order until a confirmation screen appears. Ensuring these actions are fast is essential for a positive and efficient user experience. Verify the system remains stable. This means ensuring the SAP system does not crash or slow down significantly under expected user loads. For example, during a month-end closing with many accountants entering data simultaneously, the system should continue responding promptly without errors. This stability is essential for maintaining business operations and user trust. Note any slow operations for improvement. This means identifying and recording any processes that take longer than expected during testing. For example, if a sales report generation takes 5 minutes instead of seconds, document it as a slow operation. This documentation is essential for prioritizing and fixing performance bottlenecks effectively. Running your tests step by step. Follow your test plan in order. This means executing your predefined test cases sequentially, without skipping steps, to ensure consistent and reliable results. For example, if testing a checkout process, first test adding an item, then the payment screen, and finally the confirmation. This disciplined approach prevents missed steps and builds a solid foundation for your application. Execute one test case at a time. This means you run a single test, check the result, and then move to the next. For instance, when testing a payment process, first verify the tax calculation before testing the final total. This focused approach makes identifying and fixing issues much simpler. Record what actually happens. This means documenting the real outcomes of each test step, not what you expect. For example, if testing a login, write error message appears rather than assuming it succeeds. This creates an accurate log for debugging and validation. Consistently capturing factual results ensures reliable analysis and issue resolution in your development process. Note any differences from expected results. This means you should carefully observe and record any deviations between what you anticipated and the actual outcome. For example, if you expected a sales report to generate in 5 seconds, but it took 15, document that 10-second delay. Consistently noting these variances helps identify issues early and ensures system reliability. Documenting test results for quality assurance. Record whether each test passed or failed. This means clearly marking the outcome of every test. For example, if testing a login feature, you would note login test passed or login test failed. This practice ensures all results are accurately captured and easily reviewed later. Take screenshots of important results. This means capturing visual proof of your test outcomes for clear reference. For example, if a test generates a specific report, screenshot it showing the final data and timestamps. This ensures your results are accurately preserved for validation and future reviews. Note any errors or unexpected behavior. This means carefully writing down any mistakes or results that differ from what you anticipated. For example, if a sales report should total $1,000 but shows $1,200, document this discrepancy. This precise record keeping is crucial for identifying and resolving issues effectively. Include dates and test environment details. This means noting when each test occurred and the specific setup used. For example, document tested on 5th June in the QA environment, version 2.1. This ensures results are traceable and can be reliably repeated or investigated. Always record this essential information for accurate analysis. Strategically managing test failures for robust outcomes. Do not worry if tests fail, that's why we test. Testing uncovers issues so we can fix them before they impact users. For example, a login test might fail because of a password rule change now we can update it. Each failure is simply a step toward a more reliable application. Document exactly what went wrong. This means writing detailed notes about the specific error, including the test step, expected result, and actual outcome. For example, if a user creation test fails, note the exact error message, like user email already exists, and which step triggered it. Thorough documentation is essential for developers to quickly identify and fix the underlying issue. Note steps to reproduce the issue. This means documenting the exact actions that led to the test failure. For example, if a report fails, note you clicked Generate Report, selected Q3 Sales, and then clicked Export. This ensures developers can reliably recreate and fix the problem. Share findings with your development team. This means communicating any test issues or errors you discover so they can be fixed. For example, if a payment calculation fails testing, tell your team the exact error and steps to reproduce it. This collaboration ensures problems are resolved quickly and efficiently. Validating against requirements. Compare test results with original requirements. This means checking if your solution actually does what you initially planned. For example, if a requirement was to send email alerts, verify that the system sends them correctly. This final check ensures your project delivers the intended value and functions as specified. Check all business needs are met. This means verifying that every requirement your company has is fully addressed by the solution. For instance, if a business needs automated invoice processing, you must confirm the system can receive, read, and pay invoices without manual work. Ultimately, this ensures the project delivers the intended value and avoids costly rework. Verify security and performance standards. This means checking that your solution is safe from threats and runs efficiently under load. For example, in an employee portal, ensure only authorized users access sensitive data and the system responds quickly during peak login times. This step confirms your application is both secure and reliable for users. Confirm the solution is ready for users. This means thoroughly testing to ensure everything works as expected before launch. For instance, in a new employee onboarding app, verify that all data fields save correctly and notifications are sent. This final check ensures a smooth and reliable experience for all end users. You are ready to test. You now know how to create test cases. This means you can write specific steps to check if your application works correctly before it goes live. For example, you could create a test case to verify a user can successfully log in with the correct password. This skill is fundamental for delivering reliable and high-quality software. You can execute systematic testing. This means you run planned checks in a set order to ensure everything works as expected. For example, before launching a new employee portal, you'd test login, data loading, and report generation step by step. Following this approach guarantees your SAP BTP solutions are reliable and ready for use. You understand how to document results. This means clearly writing down what happens during your tests, including any errors or successes. For example, after testing a new app feature, you would record if it loaded correctly or failed, noting the exact error message. Proper documentation ensures your findings are useful for fixing issues and improving the system. You are prepared to validate your BTP solutions. This means you can now check if your SAP BTP applications work correctly before going live. For example, test a new employee onboarding app to ensure it properly creates user accounts and assigns roles. Confidently proceed to verify your solution meets all requirements.